Are you interested in helping your community stay safe during inclement weather? Stick around, I'm going to teach you about becoming a weather spotter. Today, I would like to introduce you to a resource. This website is called Comet Met Ed, and they have a bunch of educational and training things dealing with weather. I'll show more information on part 3 of this series. But we're on the role of the Skywarn spotter, and this is a course. If you look through the descriptions, it gets a little confusing, but this is a course and it includes this Skywarn spotter training. So by the end of this training, you can be a qualified weather spotter with the National Weather Service, which is pretty cool. You'll get a certificate and everything. Now, the only way to actually get the certificate is if you're 16 years old and you sign in and set up an account, okay? If you're not 16 years old, you can still learn all this stuff and know everything that you need to know to stay safe during weather and to help people better understand. You might even be able to, you could tell people on Twitter, you could tell the National Weather Service weather that you've seen. But to be an official weather spotter, you definitely need to make sure that that you get in there, and you'll have to take a quiz at the end. It's only, I think, 11 questions. So let's get started. So you'll go to the link in the description below, and it says Role of the Skywarn Spotter, and you'll click Begin Lesson. It'll ask you to log in, and it'll bring you here. And all you're going to do is click Begin. All right. Today in the United States, there are over 290,000 trained Skywarn spotters serving their communities by reporting a wide variety of hazardous weather phenomena year-round. And this is the Skywarn logo. You may associate the Skywarn spotter program with storm chasers, tornadoes, or thunderstorms, but in fact, spotters deal with all types of hazardous weather. Skywarn spotters can report any of the following hazardous conditions to the National Weather Service. So it include convective weather, so like tornadoes, flooding, winter precipitation, high non-thunderstorm winds, wildland fires, hurricanes, high surf and rip currents, dense fog, mudslides, landslides, earthquakes and tsunamis, volcanic ash and avalanches. Now some of those, that would never happen in your area. If you live in an area where it's really flat, say you lived in Iowa or Kansas or Illinois, you really don't have to worry much about avalanches. You don't have to worry about tsunamis if you don't live right by the ocean. You don't even have to worry about it there. But there are certain weather-related events that the National Weather Service would want to know, depending on where you live. So those are the types of things that you would be reporting on. So who do you think is eligible to become a Skywarn spotter? And I'll tell you right now, it's everybody. It's meteorologists, that's people that study the weather, TV reporters, storm chasers, weather enthusiasts, police officers, school teachers, scout troop leaders, and you. All right, in the rest of this module, we'll discuss your potential role as a Skywarn spotter. And good choice in checking this out. In the following scenarios, you will learn how to communicate storm reports, stay safe, and maintain situational awareness while spotting.
Your engine purrs as you drive down a back road and you steer towards home after work, humming along with the radio. The radio announcer winds down the song with an air of seriousness, unlike his normal chipper voice.
I have a quick weather update for you before we head back to the music. We are still under a tornado watch for much of the listening area through 10 p.m. tonight. So be prepared for severe weather later today as you tough out the heat and humidity. Right now I can see storms developing out the studio window. Try to stay cool and stay safe. Now back to the music.
Dark clouds are looming in the western sky, billowing ever higher and growing even darker. You reach the last turn before your driveway and come around the corner to see a car pulled off the shoulder with its flashers on. Approaching, you notice someone in the car on a phone. Could something be wrong? Do they need help? You aren't that far from home, so you pull over to check.
Everything okay? You need a hand?
Nope, I'm okay. Watching storms develop. It's looking pretty organized. You might see some hazardous weather a little later when this one sweeps through.
Those skies look angry. What are we in for?
Maybe hail, high winds, possibly a tornado, or just rain. Can't quite tell. No matter, but you might want to find shelter just in case.
I won't be out here when that gets here. I live right up there, third mailbox. Do you have somewhere to go?
Yeah, I know my escape route and where to shelter if necessary. I'll keep monitoring the storm for the National Weather Service. I'm a Skywarn spotter. I'll call the NWS.
A what?
A Skywarn spotter. A trained volunteer who reports hazardous weather to the NWS by providing ground truth.
So the NWS is the National Weather Service.
I'll call the NWS if I see anything hazardous, and especially if a tornado forms.
I didn't know you could volunteer for that. I've always wanted to chase storms.
Hold up. A spotter's generally not a chaser. Don't confuse them. We don't go searching for storms. That'd be putting us in more danger. It's best to stay in a sturdy structure like your home unless absolutely necessary, or be prepared to get to one fast.
The National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning effective until 5 p.m. for...
Whoa! Hey, you see that thing coming out of the storm now? That might be why I'm here. Not good. Gotta call this in. There's the rotation and some debris kicking up.
Whoa.
Your stomach lurches. Where's that tornado headed? Where should you go? Where is your family? What about your parents across town? They might be right underneath that right now, or very close to it.
Great. NWS has been watching it. Radar showed spinning motion, and they issued a warning 6 minutes ago, but now they can be sure there's a tornado. We should both probably take cover now. It could start raining or hailing any time soon, and the lightning is picking up.
Spotters have been an integral part of making weather warning decisions since the early 1940s. Originally, spotters from loosely organized groups were strategically placed around areas of concern, such as munitions plants. That's where we keep, these are, the ends of bombs or ends of missiles, where lightning was a terrible hazard. In 1942, 100 spotter networks existed. By 1945, that number had more than doubled. So this is the evolution of spotter coverage from 1945 to present day. And you can see most of the United States is covered. Spotter networks helped warn communities of several tornadoes in the 1950s. In 1952, the National Weather Service began issuing forecast products to the public that alerted both the public and spotters to areas of potential severe weather. As the ranks of spotters grew, the number of reported tornadoes rose, and more warnings were issued with longer lead times. So you'll see when severe weather forecast products were first issued, the number of reported tornadoes went way up. In this figure, the solid red line shows the number of tornadoes reported steadily increased after National Weather Service severe weather forecast products began being issued. The green line shows the number of tornado days, or the number of days with one or more tornadoes reported. Both values increased after 1952 as more tornado reports were received. So this doesn't mean that there were more tornadoes. What that means is there were more people reporting those tornadoes to the National Weather Service. April 11, 1965 was one of the deadliest tornado outbreaks in the United States history. At this time, what once had been a thriving spotter network had dwindled due to budget cutbacks and reduced recruiting and training. This deadly event spurred the National Weather Service efforts to expand the spotter network. And in my next video, we will continue with the history of Skywarn spotters and move forward into your training that you'll be able to answer the questions on the quiz and become an official Skywarn spotter. So check out the next video. Thanks.